national and international issues. Chief, before we went on that short break, you had tried to talk about the wife of the Brigadier General who was brutally murdered by the bandits. And that takes me to the dangerous insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria that is gradually enveloping the rest of the country. Schools have been shut down in most parts of the north. Unthinkable. And a commander of is it a platoon or a unit?
A brigade.
A brigade.
Yes.
Had been so cruelly murdered. And people say, look, the security in this country has collapsed beyond. In fact, they say there's no government. As a political analyst, when you see all this happening, what is the verdict of our democracy?
Well,
Rule of law.
The first thing is that was their democracy.
You keep saying that.
Are we not reaping what we sowed? The problem why I don't like to tell lie outside the moral and thou shalt not be a false witness against thy neighbor is that to me, commonsensically, it's foolish to tell lies. Why is it foolish to tell lie? The lie will always show itself. Every lie is inconsistent with reality. So why should anybody tell a lie? It is a lie that we have democracy in Nigeria. It's a big lie. And then we need 1,000 lies to cover that lie.
So what do we have?
What we have is a civilian dictatorship. And it's not the first time I've said it. If you just put in any search engine, put Martin Onovo dictatorship, you're going to see I've said this in public 1,000 times. What you have is a maximum civilian dictatorship. Not just a civilian dictatorship, it's a maximum civilian dictatorship. There is no law that this regime has not violated. Tell me any law that they have not violated. I will cite a violation for you. The whole process of state of emergency in Rivers was unlawful. The process for our brother Dave Omai and his Ogas Federal Executive Council awarding Lagos Coastal Road completely lawless. When the Supreme Court gave the judgment in the 2023 presidential election, I said that the Supreme Court had initiated the complete collapse of Nigeria. Who is right, who is wrong now? That was in 2023. I said the Supreme Court has initiated. And I'm not a visionary, I'm not a prophet. But this is clear. You cannot build a society on an unjust foundation. Just like the same way I said it's foolish to tell life. You cannot build any good society on an unjust foundation. And if you look at the Nigerian constitution, the people who drafted that constitution, they understand that. If you look at the section on national ethos, they were very clear. Integrity, justice, patriotism. These are the foundation of society that when the Bible says when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? So it was that common sense that the Supreme Court is destroying the foundation. The foundation is justice. They can't do this. At their level, they should understand the consequences of that. But they did it. And you do it, then choices have consequences. These are the consequences. And if the country collapses, they too will not be safe. In fact, they're even higher at risk because they're elite. They have more to lose. He that is down need fear no fall. And that is why somebody like OBS said that what happened to Nigeria is elite failure. If you're elite, then you should have the responsibility of elite and understand that society needs to be preserved. How can the elite be the ones destroying society? So there's no democracy. I've argued this with so many of your colleagues because they keep thinking that you conduct a charade, you target an election, and then you claim it's a democracy. And somebody like you armed me very well. When you say that even your own election was flawed, when you won election, you said it.
Yes.
And you're not the first person to say it. I think Yaradua said it before you.
Yes.
But that is because maybe you and Yaradua, you appreciate the power of integrity, truth, and justice. Yaradua said it. The election that brought me to power was flawed. And then he didn't just say it and stop there. He now said, let us make it better. Then he put the wise electoral committee. So that's what a reasonable person does. And you know he was a lecturer, so he's a very educated person. Now, Jagaba and Tinubu has no basic education. None. Why will I say that? First, Bode George told us he has never been to any school. Some people read out politics now. Shebi is in another part. They don't like him. Oh, okay. The man filled his INEC form. If you primary school, nil. Secondary school, nil. Is that not confirmed? But you see our people, they will not process information. They will not gather information. They will start their beer parlor talk, confuse simple issues. These things are clear now. What is the confusion here? I allege that the Chief Dr. Anyoke is wearing a red cap. Chief Dr. Anyoke says, I'm wearing a red cap. What is the argument again now? There's no argument now. So, conclusion, Chief Anyoke is wearing a red cap. Even if two of us are wrong, that's the conclusion. Until a third party comes to establish. That is why there's a principle of law that what is admitted doesn't need further proof. He admitted it himself. Primary school, nil. Secondary school, nil. Yet the media is pretending they did not see a public document. And I'm not asking you a question. You didn't go to primary school, you didn't go to secondary school. Why are you doing that? So we say democracy. The three pillars of democracy. The two pillars and then the flower. The three pillars of democracy. The rule of law, the integrity of the ballot. Both are absent, and you say it's a democracy. So it's either the journalists are really educated.
Are you passionate?
No. Look at the facts now. I can never bash journalists. They are my friends. But what I'm saying, let's remove solidarity and deal with what the facts are before we bring our solidarity. If you said it and Yaradua said it, two of you are successful politicians. You won an election. Yaradua won an election. You say your election was flawed. Yaradua says the election was flawed. Then journalists say it's not flawed.
Not journalists.
So the rule of law is absent, the integrity of the ballot is absent. So when you say in our democracy, oh, we protect our democracy, when there's no democracy, what do you want to protect? What you will say is that okay, we don't have democracy. How do we progress to democracy? That should be the language. And let me tell you, if you adopt that language, Nigeria will correct. Because that's the power of the truth.
How do you write the wrongs?
It's very simple. Let us do an honest assessment. The foundation of all morality is honesty. The foundation of all morality is honesty. Because there's almost nothing you can do that is bad without first having to tell a lie. How can you steal if you don't tell a lie?
Well, I was told that the principal basics for governance is welfare of the people and security.
Yes, it's in the constitution.
So which one are we missing and are we getting in Nigeria?
Let me tell you something that I think a lot of people know, but they don't take into cognizance. Most things are not simplistic of sit or stand. Most things are not that simplistic, especially in politics, in societal relations, in organizational effectiveness. There are many requirements. That's why I say it's not as simple as. There are many requirements. And what happens is that in the chain of requirements, if you miss one, just one, maybe there are 10 elements, you miss one, you're already at risk of missing your target. So to be sure that you get to your target, you have to consistently get all the elements right. Let us look at field projects and contracting since I'm an engineer. Do you know that your project can start failing from design? then every other thing you are doing is already bandaged. Your project can start failing from contractor selection. But we think it's as simple as let me give my in-law. But it's not that simple. You give your in-law, you cannot pay for.
He just take me down to Sujimoto.
Sujimoto, where is our $6 billion? $6 billion.
He was a non-contractor.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
so you go to contractor selection.
Good project.
You go to your materials quality.
Good project, bad contractor.
You go to your materials quality. So there's so many things you need to get right before you see a project successfully concluded. You can't say just, okay, I got the contractor selection right, therefore. No. So you have to get all the requests right to get to that objective. And that's why work is a requirement both in religion and even in the constitution. In religion, St. Paul said those who do not work should not eat.
Right, that is wages.
And he said a laborer deserves his wages. Now, if you go to the constitution puts one of the national ethics of Nigeria as hard work. So, because that's what you require to get that level of accuracy. If it's in the education of children, you need infrastructure. You need good teachers. You need good curriculum. So, if you go and remove any of them, and say I have all the other
good environment.
Yes. And if you go and remove all those ones and say after all I have the others, you will not get a good result. So that's what I mean. And that's why they talk about dignity of labor, because it is very productive. It's very valuable. But now we see that it's not valuable. It's how I get money. It doesn't matter as long as I have money. That's imbecility. I have to earn what I have, and I can only earn it through hard work.
Okay, this issue of security, a lack of it. We talked about democracy, so I said the country would going through a very unprecedented. In fact, it looks like there's no security at all.
There's none.
People, you can't want to go to Sokoto, Katsina, go to Kaduna, and be sure you come back.
No, there's none. There's none, especially for older people like us who have been around a while, who know the time that in this country you can start going to Ibadan at 10 p.m. from Enugu, and then you have no fear of security.
Yes.
And even if your vehicle breaks down, you just put your seat down and sleep. In the morning, you move for the next mechanic and fix your motor and keep.
I remember when we used to do Ndigbo. We used to one bush in Ore. It was spoiled. The only thing we were afraid is mosquito.
That's all. It's only mosquito.
We'll just be chopping like granite and banana. And
yes.
People will come down, walking around.
Yes.
In the morning, they will continue. The journey will continue.
That's it. Freely.
You can't do that in any part of Nigeria.
So, and that's my point. And that's why I said the Southeast, claiming that they are Southeast. And so, this thing is all over. I was quoting Professor Swan Yusuf, who said that 65% of their local governments have serious security issues. So, and security is even the fundamental before you talk about welfare. Where will you get the welfare if you are insecure? So, it's unfortunate we got here. We talked about these things. Many other people talked about them. If you do the wrong things, you're going to get the wrong answers. That's why some of us are always seen as too forward. What is wrong with him? This idea has just come up. He's against it. He's against everything. Because if you do the wrong thing, you get the wrong answer. If you do the right things, you get the right answers. So, if we see that something is going to lead to error or lead to poor results, then it should be highlighted and corrected. In fact, that is key in the best practices management systems. Because in the global best practices of management system, you have your preventive systems, your verification systems, and your corrective systems. So it's the same thing. When we saw, or when we found out, without evidence, till it was confirmed by a confession, that the current ruling party had imported terrorists.
When did you confirm that?
Alhaji Kawu Baraje, who people do not know his importance and his power in the ruling party, the current ruling party. He confessed that they imported those people.
When?
Before 2015, for the 2015 elections.
Okay, they put them to help them with the elections.
Yes. from Senegal, from Mali. You're a journalist, you know now. You are the people who published it. It's everywhere. It was on so many front pages. It's not secret. It's not just online. It was in online. It was in the mainstream media. It was everywhere. He confessed.
He was part of it.
Yes, he said we. You know, before then, there was the rumor that they were importing people.
He should actually be behind bars.
No, I don't think he should just be behind bars. I think it will be too simplistic to say he should be behind bars, because the right thing to do is to first start the investigation and then get everybody. But who's going to do that? The rule against the ruling party. So you have to be practical.
Well, he's not talking like a fallen a man who has fallen out of favor.
Well, if he's talking about out of favor, why are you complaining about insecurity?
No, I'm just saying.
That's not the point. He gave facts, and you should know that he was the most powerful and the most important of the founders of the ruling party, because he was the leader of the new PDP. So he was the insider against the PDP that joined APC. Alaji Kawu Baraja, and he's not a young man, he's over 70. So you can't say he's suffering from juvenile delinquency. And now the evidence is there.
So what happened? Where did you get it from?
Well, you don't want to import terrorists and then you say you don't want to have terrorists now. So the first thing is that you imported the terrorists. Okay. Do you want to make light of the statement of General Danjuma, who commanded the Nigerian army? He said the armed forces are not neutral, they are conniving with the bandits that are killing citizens. Do you want to make that? Is that a light statement to you?
For a man of his standing.
For a man of his standing. I'm quoting, the armed forces are not neutral, they are conniving with the bandits.
Well, I would like to say some of them. That's a qualification we'd like to put in journalism.
Yes,
because it was
you can put it, but institutionally.
You can't conduct a referendum to know it's everybody. It can't be everybody.
It cannot be everybody, but when institutionally there's a direction. Okay, what did Buhari, as a commander-in-chief, tell the Benue leaders who went to complain, elders who went to complain about insecurity? You have to accommodate your brothers. So terrorists is our brother. We have to accommodate terrorists. Was that not public? Is that one secret?
So now you're talking about headsmen.
Headsmen. Those people who carry AK, are they headsmen? Do you need an AK-47 to do headsmen? Nobody's complaining about headsmen with a stick. No, the headsmen you're complaining about is terrorist headsmen. That's a different thing. There are headsmen. There are terrorist headsmen. And those terrorist headsmen are using heading as a cover. The truth is that they're just simply terrorists. That heading becomes a cover to cover their terrorism. So there is actually no headsman as a terrorist or a terrorist as a headsman. They are terrorists and headsmen. Now I can go and open a small shop, and what I do is email compromise. And then I'm making money from my email compromise. And then I say, hey, I'm a trader. I have this shop. So it's a cover. So they're using heading as a cover. They are not headsmen, because you don't need AK-47 to do headsmen. And we've known these headsmen all our lives. And they don't use it if they use a stick.
I thought they shoot you with that stick. If you get stuck to your body, you start developing. We use it yesterday.
No, the stick is poisoned. That's a true lie.
So that what we know.
No, that one is not a lie. It's poisoned.
So suddenly they drop that for AK-47.
Which is my point. So they are not really headsmen. These are militia. And I think we have enough evidence. Okay, somebody like Commodore Kunle Olawumi, former general and the director of military intelligence, he spoke publicly for 1 hour. When with this ruling party, spoke publicly, and he said, "We know these people. The military intelligence knows people. We have interrogated these people, and the people are in public positions."
Okay, Chief.
So national security has their names, and then they got cleared. So can't you see that it's government that's doing it? You are looking for more evidence. Keep looking for evidence.
Okay, maybe we'll just take another short break. We'll come back. I want you talked about issues, challenges. What must we do to get Nigeria right? going forward?
Very simple.
That will be our next conversation. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, this is that kind of provision, national attention.
Okay, I put you.